Hello. Our question this week asks why some or many of the universities that were asked by Father Hesburgh of Notre Dame to form a super conference refused his invitation. And I think a large part of the answer is revealed in the timing of his proposal. Before his proposal, Notre Dame was making the most money by far of any college program. You also had the University of Pennsylvania, who was also making a lot of money, but in comparison to the other universities, it was a boat race, really. For example, on one TV deal, Notre Dame negotiated $185,000. The University of Penn also had some six-figure contracts as well. Just to give an example of a comparison, the University of Oklahoma around the same time had a $3,000 TV contract. So you can see that there was a large discrepancy in the money that the universities were getting compared to Notre Dame. So what happened is that many of those universities were already expressing concern that television was damaging gate receipts and ticket sales and game attendance. So there was already concerns about that. And eventually the NCAA um, abandoned, the NCAA abandoned their quote unquote home rule, which granted autonomy to each university to negotiate their own television contracts and make decisions about television and radio broadcasts. And they chose to bring everything under their governance. Once that happened, Notre Dame was no longer able to have television contracts. So you basically had a school in Notre Dame, an institution who had a goose egg, who had a money maker that was taken away from them. And of course, naturally, they're going to do what they can to get it back. So, from the perspective of the universities who refused to join the super conference that Father Hesburgh was proposing, you have to assume, at least I would assume if I was those presidents, that he was only proposing that because he needed us at the time. Um, the only way he would be able to engage in lucrative television deals again was to receive support from other schools. So I say that to say those universities that refused to join them, they probably had some hesitation because of a mistrust they could have possessed, that it would not have been a win-win situation for all. I'm not sure if part of his proposal to form the conference included revenue sharing, but that is about the only way that it would have made sense. And the book didn't speak on that, so I'm assuming at that time, though revenue sharing is all over now, he may not have proposed it. And I think the proof in the pudding is the fact that part of his proposal was this: let's all come together as this super conference of 12 teams and play each other and allow the broadcast company and uh, the sports writers to select or decide which games would be broadcast. Well, that was suspect to me because before all of this, again, Notre Dame was making the most money. So they were the most widely viewed team in America. There was already evidence that public demand was for Notre Dame. So if you're telling me, or if you're proposing to me to get into a TV deal but allow the broadcast company and the sports writer to gauge the public's interest, then your school is going to win out because there's already years of evidence that most Americans want to see Notre Dame. So who's to say that we would get in this deal and eventually, if we're leaving it up to what the public wants to see, that our school would ever be on TV or ever reap any of the benefits. So I believe that that is why they were hesitant, because Father Hesburgh did not do enough to convince them that it would be a win-win situation for all parties involved.